is Natalie Montufar, and this is my Christian Existence Project. I'm here with both my parents. I'm an only child, and this is Marisol Montufar and Marcelo Montufar. First question, how long have you been married?
We've been married for 18 years, and this coming October, we're gonna make 19 years happily.
How old were you when you two met each other?
I was 26
And I was
minus 6.
it was
20.
no.
You're 20.
I was 19.
It's
okay,
7,
so
I think.
we're 7 years apart? Okay. I was 26 and she was 19.
Do you think age matters in a relationship?
At one point, it matters because when I met him, it was just I'm studying college, so my goal was to finish college and then think something else. So that's why we got married when I was 28.
Because your life was just starting? Okay, how about you? Do you think age matters?
At the beginning it does, but with time, like she said, if you grow older, age doesn't matter anymore.
Okay. Describe your courtship, like how you started dating, what happened in the beginning of your relationship.
We started dating, and my sister got a car accident, and he was more a friend with
Well,
my
the-
sister.
Well, like in the beginning
Well, yeah,
of the relationship, you want to
we
explain
were friends because, like she said, her sister got into a car accident, and since I was friends with her sister first, I used to go and help her out, and that's how we met. So it wasn't really, we didn't really date each other. We knew each other as friends because of her sister.
It was
and-
the day by day, like knowing
that? Just
each
regular
other.
acquaintances, and
Yes.
you just saw each other.
Right.
Okay. Where was your first date? Do you remember? Was there an official first date, or was it just?
Not really, right?
No.
Like I said, since we knew each other as friends, it wasn't that we
It's
said
like
to each other,
official
right?
date.
We didn't go to let's go on our first date. I mean, we used to go out to eat lunch together.
But
We
it
used to
was with
go
my
out to the
sister.
with her sister to the movies and everything.
Okay. Why did you decide to get married?
Ooh. Well, I decided to get married because I
I
knew
think he was more intense about it.
I knew she was the right person. I've dated a lot when I was young, but when you find somebody that really attracts you and gets you, you know that person is it.
How about you, Mom?
Through all the years when I met him, I learned when you love somebody, that your heart says yes, and you as a person you already grow.
You grew
we-
together as a couple.
Yes, we already we already were mature to make that big decision, because getting married is a big step in everybody's life.
Okay. Describe your engagement.
We actually didn't have like a real engagement. Like our relationship was so fluent, and it kept going through the years that it came to a point that we just decided to get married, and we just started planning out our
Wow.
marriage.
We have to. I wasn't living here.
Oh, you were living separately. So my mom was
Yes,
living
I
in
was
Ecuador and my
living
dad was
in
living
Ecuador,
here.
and he was living here. So we only see each other when I came from Ecuador
On
from vacation.
vacations.
So that's why our relationship was longer, because
Long distance. So even
Long
when
distance.
Yolanda was in the hospital, you would be coming back and forth.
yes,
Right. I don't know did they know, like, did you explain that her sister was in an accident?
Yeah, mom said. So
Okay.
that's how kind of the
Right.
first spark started. So then, are you mad that you didn't have a proper engagement? No.
And I'm mad, but I'm always asking for my ring.
Eventually she would get her ring.
Okay. How old were you when you got married? Did we go over this?
I was 35 and she was,
I was 28.
Do you think that's older than usual, or that's a typical age?
For this time, yes, it's a typical.
For now,
age.
it's typical,
Yes,
but back
back
then,
then, same, a little bit.
older.
yeah,
Older,
I was
yes.
35, so I think
Yeah.
I was a little older than most men. Maybe 28 should be a good age.
What were you looking for in a spouse? You can
I
both
was-
answer.
I was looking for a person that was understanding, funny, caring, hard worker like I am, and she has all the qualities that I was looking for.
How about you, man?
Me, first, the person has to love me, respect me, and that's what Marcelo does until now.
Okay. Okay, you answered that question. How does the reality of marriage compare to your expectations of what marriage is like? Like, you know how in movies it's like this picture perfect thing? What do you
No,
think it is?
marriage is a perfect marriage. It's always when you have to keep in mind when you love each other, you can go through everything. But when it's not, is when it's no love each other, every little thing or every little problem, your marriage can fall through.
How about you?
It's not like
It's
you said,
hard.
like the movies. Sometimes it has its ups, downs, and if there's no love, you can't
Go through those things
you
together.
can't fight that. You there's no way of like fixing things. But because we have love, we've been through a lot of ups and downs, and we're still married.
Oh, how cute. How do you think children affect marriage?
Children doesn't affect marriage. Children is a compliment
A
for the
compliment?
marriage.
How about you?
It's the
No,
best thing.
children affect marriage because
In a positive way?
yeah, in a
Yeah,
positive
and
way.
of course, there's a compliment. It's a pattern of life. It's
I
the
mean-
best thing that the marriage can have it.
I think kids make the marriage grow closer together
Yeah.
because you do everything around your kids. I mean, we only have one, but we'll wake up and boy, what do we have in our mind? Her.
Okay. Did you want to have kids before you were married? Was that always in your plan?
No. We always have to have. Oh, before.
Like when you were young, did you always dream
Oh,
of having a
I'm
family?
always dream to have 5 kids.
5 kids.
Yes, and I always want my first
Kid.
kid
To be a boy?
a daughter.
You wanted
Oh.
to be a boy? I'm
No,
slightly
no.
offended.
No.
You were happy with what you got.
Exactly. I mean, I would never change her for the world.
Okay, next question. How important is money in marriage?
Money is important because without money you don't eat.
Well, money is important,
Well,
but
like,
not to a point.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of poor people that are happy. Money, if you don't have enough money, there'll be problems or whatever. But people survive. It's not something that.
It doesn't affect the love aspect,
But now,
but it affects like the everyday living kind of thing.
right. I mean, if
I have different opinion because if you don't have, I'm not gonna say you have to have a lot of money to be happy. No, but you have to have money to survive, to eat, to have a roof.
but let's say if we didn't have
it's always an issue with the money, because if you don't have money and you can afford certain things that you know you need it, it's not even like you like it, do you need it, it's something is hard that sometimes people go through those things, and marriages can be dissolved because money. But that means there's no love.
So they
Money, you always can make money.
Okay.
Wait, I have a follow-up question. So, you know how sometimes people get separate, like, living situations? So, like, you keep your own money and you keep your own money. What do you think about that?
No.
No. I mean, in our case, whatever I make and she makes, we put them together and we'll
That's
pay
marriage.
the bills. We'll go on vacations. We'll do things. It's not like, oh, I have my money, I have my account, you have your account. No, everything
We share.
She knows how much we have in the bank together. She knows if we're like short, or if we have extra money, or
Who's in charge of the bills?
We are very honest.
Okay. How important do you think physical attraction is in marriage?
I think is very important.
In marriage or at the beginning of the marriage?
In both.
It's always to get married.
You
to
have to
you have to physically like the
attracted,
person,
right.
attracted. If
I-
you already attracted in the beginning and you love that person, the physical doesn't affect your marriage, because anything can happen to you.
Okay. I think a physical, you have to feel attraction in order to get married. You can't just get married
It can't be
because
like a
nice,
friendship
oh,
type
she's a
of
nice
love.
person,
No,
and
first comes
the
the
attraction.
attraction.
Yeah, because when
and
you
then
first
the
see
love.
the person,
Right.
not to be like shallow one. Okay, next question. Would you say to your marriage it's beneficial having the same culture, the same values, and the same religion? Like I know,
Yes.
like you're both Catholic, you're both Ecuadorian, you both have the same morals and values. Do you think that's a plus?
It's a plus.
And do you think it's necessary?
It's not really necessary, but in our case, it's a plus because we have the same culture. We listen to the same music.
Food.
The food is the same. Even though, I mean, if let's say she was Italian or French, or if there's attractions, and you learn to love each other, but it's a big plus if you're from the same nationality.
I think it's a big plus when you have the same religion, same culture, because you share more things, because as your religion, you know, is the same way that you learned when you were little. But when you have somebody that's not your same religion, how you gonna split with your kids? Or you wanna be Catholic, or you wanna be the other religion? It's up to the kid. No, I don't know. I think it's a big plus.
So how do you think religion has affected your marriage?
It has,
Like
It's-
showing your religion to me, between each other.
Affect? No, the religion
it's helped it
is how it
Yeah,
helps
like how
us.
has it
Because-
helped you? Like, in what
because
ways?
I mean we're both Catholic, and we wanted you to go to a Catholic school. Maybe if she was a different religion and I was Catholic,
It
you
will
won't-
be
you
always
probably a little issue there.
an
I mean,
issue.
Don't get me wrong, it probably will work if we were like different, but it will be a little difficult.
No. Do you think education affects your marriage? Like your educational standings?
You mean if somebody has more education than the
Yeah.
other person? At one point, or will affect if somebody has more education than the other.
How? What would
How?
you say? Yeah.
Because it's certain things that you wanna do it, and probably the other person cannot do it.
Like even
Like, what do you mean?
like financially or like jobs, that kind of stuff?
Jobs, that
Like
kind
one
of
person
stuff.
will achieve
Yes.
other things? What do you think?
I don't know. It, I mean, if two people went to college, I don't think, unless you're like, you have a PhD and you just have a bachelor's, maybe there's a big difference, but I
Yeah, I
don't
think
think
education affects the
the marriage.
a marriage. Yes,
Okay.
at a certain point.
Okay. How about back to the religion kind of questions? How has God affected your marriage?
We always have faith, and because we have the faith, we most of the things that we accomplish is because the faith that we have in God.
Right. I
We
mean,
always give everything we do in His hands, and we
And-
always be thankful where we
Right.
have,
everything we have,
especially you.
everything we have and we have accomplished, we thank God, because religion is a big part.
Okay. Now these are more like broad questions. What advice would you give teenagers who are dating and thinking about getting married?
Well, teenagers, to me, a teenager should probably just date and think about their future. I mean, they have to
It's
get
too
an
young.
education. It's too young.
I think when you too young to make marriage is a big step in your life, and you to get married, you have to know what you're doing, what you want. If that person is the person that you want to be all your life. I know things happen, but if you're going with that mind, and it's not only a physical attraction, is the way that person is. Education is very important, because without no education comes the issue that you can have a job, and then comes the issue the money,
Or you
And
start
it-
having kids, and then
and then how you handle all.
Handle everything.
So I will suggest the teenagers has to
finish your college.
finish her college and then make that big step.
Okay. What advice would you give a young married couple that is experiencing marital difficulties and thinking about divorce?
I will advise them to say everything they think to the other, to each other. Everything they think, the things that don't like for the other person, because probably the other person doesn't know that she
That's
doesn't
the
like.
issue.
Yes, it
Right.
probably does. Communication. If you communicate with somebody, people not gonna guess what you don't like. If you say I don't like this, if the other person knows that you don't like certain things, and he respect you, that means you telling him. But if you expect people sometimes guess why you don't like it, no, they're not gonna guess. It's communication,
I
it's
would-
love.
I would tell them not to give up. I mean, to keep trying.
It's always in a
Go to
marriage.
counseling. Do anything you can to save a marriage. I mean, that's
Yes.
why when you get married, it's for better, for worse.
That's why that's why we're coming back to the last question: the why teenagers should not be married because they too young. Because there's a lot of things that before you
You don't
make that
realize
big-
there's so many.
big step. The marriage is a big step in your life.
Okay. Looking back, what would you do differently in your marriage if you could do anything differently?
I don't think we could do anything differently.
I
I
think
mean-
we're happy the way we handle our marriage. No, it's always things they can be a little bit better, but
I don't think there's
I don't
nothing
think-
we could change.
What would you say is the key to a happy marriage?
Understanding,
Love each other.
have fun, uh, go out, have fun,
Not always being so serious. Okay.
right?
What would you say ruins a marriage? Like, what is that one breaking point?
Dishonest.
The what?
Dishonesty.
Oh, dishonesty.
A lot of arguing. A lot of people have problems because of maybe money. What else can
So,
ruin a
like-
marriage?
Wait, so what about differences between
friends.
families? Like the mother-in-law, the father-in-law, how does that affect the marriage? Do you think that should affect the marriage or that should not matter
I
in
don't
the
think
marriage?
that should affect the marriage. I mean,
Yeah, because that doesn't
just-
affect if the couple are very strong enough to, to put things separately. Your marriage is
And
your
your-
marriage,
and your family.
and your family is your family. Doesn't mean you don't love your family. It means that when you marry, you have your own family. So you, him, and I, we are family. In our lives, for him, for me, it comes first my family. You, him, and I. Doesn't mean I don't love my sister, that I don't love my parents.
But this is our family.
This is your family. This is first. My family comes first and to anything else.
What do you think about adultery in a marriage? Do you think that could be something forgiven and you can move on, or do you think it's something
No.
like totally?
I don't think it's something you could forgive. You know what it is? We come from a background that is looked up really hard on adultery.
Yeah, no.
I
I
don't
think it's
think-
something that you will not forgive. No.
Okay. Do you think a couple should live together before deciding to get married? Why or why not?
No, I think that I'm not agree.
That's what most people do now.
Because
Well-
because when you why you want to live with that person first, why you don't want to commit seriously with that person to get married, and you want to live together, and then things didn't work out, and they split. It's like having divorce. When you get married, it's a commitment. It's a commitment with each other. So because you don't have that commitment, that strong commitment,
You don't
you
take
can
it
split.
lightly.
Yeah, you split easily, and you say, okay, you go this way, I'm going this way.
And
But
then
when you don't have, you have a commitment. Even though people say paper is a paper, of course, paper is a paper, but there's a commitment that you have each other to do things.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, you know how people say, "Oh, marriage is just a paper; it doesn't matter,"
No,
and they live with each
it
other like
matters.
What do you think marriage is? Like, do you think it's something important? Like,
Yes, it's a commitment. It's a contract that it's like when you have a contract to do things. It's an obligation to do things. That's the way you look at marriage, as an obligation, that you do things for love, for a commitment, for a lot of things. But when you don't have that obligation, you don't have that commitment, and in another way, you don't care.
like when people live together, one little fight to be like, okay, it didn't work out. Okay, I'm moving on. So you don't have that commitment, I mean, even though it's a paper, to me, I feel like it's like a really strong bond.
okay, I have two last questions. One is, how would you define the word love?
Love is when people respect you, when people accept you the way you are, the way you think, the way you speak, the way you, all the ways. That's love for me.
Love is the way a person looks at you without thinking of, oh, he's dressed bummy or he's sloppy today. You still love that person no matter what. Love is, like she said, respect, understanding, is
Care.
care.
Okay. And what's one word you would use to describe your marriage?
One word, commitment.
My marriage is
It can be
one
in
word.
Spanish. If that
Solid.
helps. Solid.
Yeah, it's a solid.
Yes, it's a solid. We always having we have friends that always say, I wish my marriage is like yours. It's not perfect. My marriage is not perfect, but we try our best. And when you try your best, you always get things done.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Love you too. Okay. Imagine it didn't record.